What's going on, guys? Evolution here and welcome to my channel, and today I've got a big update for you 7 Days of Die lovers out there. So Alpha 7 has now just been released, and this is their biggest update they've ever released to date. I mean, the biggest. It's filled with so many things and whatnot, it's insane. So let's crack on and discuss the update. The first update that stood out to me was the World Visual Overhaul. So this means that they've gone over the whole map and they've just polished it all off to make it look slightly nicer. And I've got to say, this has got a big impact. So one of the most important things I noticed was the new smooth terrain. You can see the hills in the distance. They're not quite as blocky and chunky and clunky as they used to be. They're now kind of edged off, smooth, and it gives us this nice dynamic look. They've also modified the ground textures as well, again just kind of giving that nice leveling when you're running around, and also they've made all the plants and the trees and whatnot look better, just your general kind of grassy stuff, which also helps to make the game look better overall. And I said, once again, as you can see here, the nice kind of dynamic smooth edge we've got here, it just doesn't look as chunky and blocky, and in my opinion I think they've done a really good job on it, and it really does make the hills and whatnot look a lot nicer. So let's move on to the next update. A new stealth system has been incorporated into 7 Days to Die. So this means now when you crouch, you'll either have a small eye which will say undetected, or if you're running around and zombies can see you and you're attempting to sneak around, it will come up with like a larger eye saying that you're being hunted. So I'd imagine the kind of bonuses of being in this stealth mode where you're undetected, you'll probably get like a higher damage attack on whatever you're aiming at, for instance an animal or a zombie or whatnot. I quite like this new system because obviously it kind of gives you a massive advantage if you get the drop on a zombie. If you're in stealth mode and you shoot with your bow and arrow or whatnot, it should be much easier to kill them. So, you know, it makes life a bit easier with picking off the odd zombie here and there, and also I'd imagine it might make hunting a bit easier because if the deer doesn't know you're there, boom, you can just strike them with an arrow to the face. So let's continue onwards, and since we're on the theme of the new systems that have been implemented into 7 Days to Die, we might as well go ahead and talk about the new cooking and chemistry system. So within the new campfire cooking system, they've added newly and improved recipes, which is always fun stuff. Also, there's 4 new cookware items which you can now get. You've got the cooking pot, a grilling plate, a sharp stick, and a chemistry beaker. And obviously you'll have to use the specific items and combine them with the right ingredients if you want to unlock the next recipe. So this will be quite good at keeping the survival aspect in 7 Days to Die, where you're going to have to go collect ingredients and food and mix them together using the new cooking and chemistry system to unlock new recipes of a way of living. Right guys, so let's move on to the next update. So the next few updates aren't quite as important, however they sure will make a difference when playing 7 Days to Die. So there's some new animations that have been added in, a lot of these for the zombies, for the different types of zombies, and also I know there are some for the hunting rifle as well that have been added, but apart from that my knowledge is quite vague on this one. They've also added in some new sounds into the game. Once again, I'm quite vague on what they've actually done, but I'd imagine some of the textures and weapon noises may have been changed or added in. There have also been some new items added in. Nothing too major, but you'll notice them when you're out and about searching for your loot. And last of all, there's been some new graphics added in for the icons of some of the items in the game. So obviously previously in one of the alpha updates you noticed that they changed all of the weapons icons, they looked a ton better, and they've also gone and overhauled some other items as well now. I can't list any of them, but I do know that they have improved and changed some of the icons of the items in the game. So next up, let's talk about the inventory and crafting system. So previously in the game, obviously if you wanted to craft a recipe, you'd do the pattern that you needed to do for that certain item, and then you'd go ahead and craft it. I mean, brilliant, isn't it? But now they've added crafting timers and looting timers into the game. So when you go ahead and craft your crafting recipe, you're actually going to have a bit of a delay until that item will be in your inventory. Similar to the system in Rust, you'll just have to wait a certain duration of time. Obviously, maybe better items or whatnot will have a longer duration, etc. I'm sure it won't be one period of time. That will vary depending on what you're trying to craft. And for you guys that play multiplayer, this is an update to take note to. In multiplayer now, they've readjusted the spawning system so you actually spawn closer to your friends, and they've also added a death drop system, so now when you die, depending on the server settings, you can lose everything. So be sure to stay alive that little bit longer in the zombie apocalyptic world. And of course, as every large update should have, there are a ton of bug fixes. But to be honest guys, there's nothing too major there, just like the general fixes, bits and bobs. I did notice there were some zombie fixes and again some issues related to weapons being fixed, which is always good stuff to hear. But anyway guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did literally just highlight the small minority of key updates that I felt that were important. There are a ton more, but as I've said, I've just tried to go over the ones I felt were the most important. If you want the full description of updates, be sure to check the description, and along with doing that, be sure to drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more 7 Days to Die content. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.